Recording. Morning, Monday musings with Jenice and Lois as we go, and Genesis Solutions. How is everybody out there? Hopefully you all had an awesome weekend. Happy Monday. And I'm Jenice Walters, and I'm with my friend this morning.
Good morning, Jenice.
Good morning, Lois. So yes, so last week we talked about influence, and this week we wanted to kind of expand on that because we were so involved in that conversation that it sparked another conversation about who actually influences us in our own lives. Who are the people that make an impact in our lives? Who are the people that have made us who we are today? And started thinking about we may hear things from people as we, go from day to day and in our lives, in our jobs, and as we're growing up, in our profession, from people that we've heard the same thing over and over again. But then we hear it from that one person who either we respect or holds a special place in our lives or in our heart, that we just decide, you know what? We're now receptive to what they have to say. But now we've heard the same thing 1,000 times before in the past, but did we do anything about it? No. But this one time, somebody that we respect or we hold to a high esteem, we now happen to be open to what it is they have to say and actually move on what they say. Do you find that to be the case, Lois, in terms of people telling you something that you probably heard, I don't know, many times, but never really was open to it or receptive to it? But this one time somebody says the same thing to you, but that person now has the opportunity to make a difference for you. Have you found that to be so?
Yeah, I think that could definitely be the case. I think we let people in based on how we have relationship with them. Relationship is a give and take.
Yep.
I give you a little information, you give me a little information. And so I think that's definitely a piece of it. Like, what kind of relationship do you have with me? How much,
Yep.
How much am I getting from you in the realm of that? But I was just thinking too, there is influence to be had when you don't have any relationship.
True.
I had a mom who didn't know me at all once tell me, you are going to be the kind of mom that you're going to be. It was the best piece of pregnancy advice that I ever received from anyone. It shot straight to my heart, and it changed my world forever.
Wow.
She didn't know that it mattered. She spoke a powerful word of influence over my life. She didn't know it. She just showed up and did what she did. I think sometimes we just have to be willing to show up and speak what we've been given in the space that we're in. What do you think about that?
I think that's pretty powerful because it kind of speaks to something that's beyond us. In other words, when you have somebody that is in your life for a moment or just in passing, they cross paths with you and they say something that is that impactful that it changes your life. Sometimes they don't even know what their assignment is. They've been given an assignment, but they don't even know that that assignment was to be in your life at that time, at that day, at that time, in the moment, to give you that word that make that much of an impact. And sometimes we are on assignment, and that's why it's so important to show up and so important to listen to that still small voice, because sometimes you have this small nagging feeling or thought or small voice that's telling you to do something and you're questioning, why am I doing this? Or why am I getting that thought right now? That we need to probably follow those promptings and those things that we're prompted or pushed or influenced to say, because you never know what difference it's going to make in somebody else's life. And so when you feel that, when you sense that, it's not just random. It's really something that's been there and you've been put there for a reason, and you're on assignment to deliver that message. Many times people have said to me that, wow, you said the right thing just when I needed to hear it. Not knowing that what I said was that powerful, but just knowing that the other person received it that way tells me that we all have times when we're on assignment, when we have been given something that we need to impart to somebody else. And I really believe that's a lot of spiritual as well, because sometimes we have a message that we've given to somebody that he's speaking to us, through us, to that person. He's using you to speak to that person or to give that message to that person. I really, truly believe that the Spirit works in that way. And so sometimes we are on assignment that we don't even know we're on assignment. And sometimes we are given a message to deliver that we have no idea why we're delivering it or who we're delivering it to, but we just make that, we follow it, and then we make the impact. So I think that's pretty important and pretty significant.
For sure. Well, and you and I met that way.
We did.
We're
We certainly did.
part of that. Go in with your that still small voice, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're terrified that the other person might just think you're crazy.
Yeah. Or you're questioning, why am I doing this again? Or I don't have anything in common with that person. I remember that conversation we had in the beginning. And that how we question, but then sometimes that's that nagging feeling that we need to do that thing, or we need to say that thing at that moment, or we need to pick up the phone at that moment. When you follow through on that, gosh, it's just so powerful, because it's beyond us. I really believe the promptings that we get, the messaging that we get, the signs even that we see, the feelings that we get, I feel are not just by accident. I don't believe things happen by accident. I think there's a purpose. I think there's a meaning. I think there's a reality behind what's happening in the time and in the moment. And so we need to follow those sometimes. And you just never know what's going to happen on the other end, except that the other person received it. And once they receive it and they kind of make that connection, wow, that's pretty powerful in itself. That's pretty powerful. You just never know what your assignment is. And so just be open and be receptive to not only being able to receive, but also to be open to impart to someone or to share with somebody that it may impact, even though you're not sure how or why, but you're following that prompting and that special something that you can't even put your finger on, but you're following it. And at the very end of that, somebody is greatly impacted by it. So that's what we need to move by.
I think the beauty of being where you're supposed to be, where you're meant to be, doing what you're called to do and operating in the giftings that you have is that you don't have to worry about the end goal. You don't have to worry about what the person on the other end has received or is receiving, because sometimes we don't actually see what that is. We don't see how the benefit of that, like even on social media, like you may write a post that speaks to someone that you'll never know, but you showed up and you did what you were meant to do, and it changed somebody's world, and that was your responsibility. Yeah.
It's like you did your homework. You did your job. You did your part, and the other part will take care of itself. taking care of what's happening today, because tomorrow is going to take care of itself. So as long as you do your part, then you've done your part. And that's all you can do, and that's all you're required to do. But then the end result, once you've planted that seed, the rest is magic. The rest is magic. So yeah, I think that's you just never know who you're impacting and who you're going to change something about them or their life or their outcome, or you just never know. The part that you play, the piece that you play, where that is in the scheme of things. It's a very critical part. And once that part is missing, then the whole thing doesn't come together. So you need to play your part so that everything else can fall into place. I think it's just so important that we follow those things.
But
Awesome.
here's the other thing, sowing and reaping is a law. When you sow, you reap.
Yeah.
And how you sow matters. So when you sow good fruit or, good seed,
Yeah.
it gets water and rain and all the good things. It comes up amazing.
Yeah.
So sowing good seed is going to bring good crops. And
I like that analogy. I really do like that analogy, because sometimes you don't see what the flower is going to look like at the end, but you continue to water it, you plant it, and you just plant it with the faith and the hope that something's going to come at the end of that, right? So when you plant it, you water it, it gets the sun, gets the rain, gets all of that. And then eventually something wonderful happens. The right season, the right temperature, the right amount of sun, the right amount of rain, and then that thing just blooms to something beautiful. You just never know what you're planting out there in people. And so you just need to show up and do your part. Be the spark and be the inspiration for someone else. So that's your assignment. Awesome.
Right. You guys are sowing this week?
Yes, sowing and reaping at the end, right? But sowing something that you may be sowing into somebody else, or sowing for yourself, for your own result, but sowing just the same. So let us know what you think. Leave us a comment. Leave us your thoughts. Tell us what you think about today's topic. But influence is huge, and you have a part to play too in others' lives. So play your part, do your thing, and who knows who it will impact in the end. So thanks for being here today. It's wonderful to have a conversation with you guys again. This has been Monday Musings with Lois and Jenice, and we will see you again next week, same time.
Talk
Have
soon.
a good one. Bye.